Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Big game last night, North Melbourne and Geelong, and the Kangaroos needed to respond, and they did it in demonstrative fashion. No doubt about it, Luke Ball. It was a magnificent win.
Not a bad word, Hutchie. Demonstrative. They were great. That's right. Sean Higgins has had a great year. 3. Drew Petrie hit the scoreboard as well. Ryan Bastanak played his best game for a while. Nicky Dalsano for the Cats. Not a lot of joy there. Josh Walker, Andrew Mackie and Stevie Johnson kicked 2, but the captain of the Kangaroos was magnificent yesterday, led his team back on the right path, and he joins us this morning. And Spitter, welcome, and it was great to respond, as Hutchie said, in that fashion after last week.
Yeah, it was. It's a really disappointing performance the week before, and I suppose that's probably been a bit of a tale of our season so far. So, the back half of the year, it's really about trying to get some real consistency. Some
pretty tough calls were made at selection. We asked you on the radio last night as well. You, as a captain, how much of a role do you play in those sort of decisions? Yeah, we were always having discussions with Brad and getting his thoughts, and we had some really firm thoughts on a couple of guys, throughout the week, and we made them known to Brad, and there were some changes, and it doesn't mean the guys are out of favour or anything. They go back, they have to perform in the VFL, and they give themselves a chance to come back in.
So what deal with both those? First of all, Lindsay, what do you need him to work on to get back in the team?
Lindsay, he gives us some great. He flies to the ball, he marks, he crumbs, but we need that pressure. And you see him every now and then doing a couple of good chases, but we need that consistently throughout the whole game. So. He's just got to go back and work on doing that, and from all reports he was pretty good yesterday in the VFL, so we'd love to get him back up, and he'll give him every chance this week.
The other one is Brent Harvey. It was a big call, and Brad made his feelings pretty clear. Were you part of this decision, and was it sending a message that no one's safe in this team?
No, we weren't part of, it was Brad's call to make him sub, but I think there's a couple of things with Boomer. Obviously, he's pretty old, so we're going to have to start to manage his time a little bit. But he also sometimes he really tries to carry the team, and sometimes I've been in that boat as well. When you try and really will your team over the line, sometimes you step out of what we need you to do, and we'll just get back to playing your role. And if you play your role, you'll be in the team.
How has Brad Scott been? Has he come back a touch different? Because I did read something where he's been away and he sees it a bit differently just watching it from home and things like that.
Yeah, I think for him, I think it was a bit of an eye-opener sitting there and just watching it on TV. He's probably been a bit more angry, a bit more crankier since he's been back. So it probably happens when you can't sit down for 6 weeks or whatever and you're having to catch the train to work. But he's been really good on the way back, and I think having that time away has allowed him just to really crystallise a couple of things.
Yeah. We go to the highlights, Andrew. It was a bit of an arm wrestle early in that first quarter, but I just thought your pressure in that second quarter really started to overwhelm the Cats. Yeah, they were really good. They were really up for the fight, Geelong. But we just knew we had to stick at it. Keep coming up at them, keep trying to turn the footy over. We know how attacking they like to be. If we could do that, we know when we get ball in hand, we're pretty effective at kicking goals.
Damien Barrett off the top went with it. It's a bit of a love-in for Geelong and North Melbourne at the moment. There's been a few issues with some reportable incidents where he was even suggesting that the two brothers get together and try and talk people out of giving suspensions. Can you comment on that?
No, I don't think it's really. I saw a bit of what Damo said before, and with a couple of incidents, they're pretty minor sort of incidents. I think Boomer's one last year. There wasn't much in that, and I think most people would agree. So, I don't think the brothers sit there and try and collude too often.
If one of the brothers did a press conference and they quickly changed clothes, would you be able to tell the difference if the other one did it?
No, not really.
Riveting question, Brownie.
One to be standing up and one to be sitting.
Hey, Andrew, I want to ask you about your ruckman. I think this year, Mumford, early in the year, obviously Nat Nui, Sandyland, and your man, Goldstein. Yeah. He's been a good player at North for a long time, but he's taken it up another level, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I think his ruck work's been, top-notch for probably the last 3 or 4 years, but it's his ability now to go around the ground and take marks, and teams are really struggling, and they're making sure that they're getting blokes back to try and defend him, because that was probably the one thing that was missing from his game. And when you've got a big bloke that you can bail out a kick to, and he's going to just clunk one down the line, it gives you a lot of confidence.
Well, nice goal there, just to finish it up.
What about Joel Selwood and the chicken wing last night? What did you make of it?
Well, this is probably the first time I really I think when we're taught to tackle these days, you're taught to try and pin the arm, and I think part of it probably goes back to the way that the game's been adjudicated. We have to try and actually to get anyone holding the ball these days, you've got to try and hold one arm and try and make sure that they can't dispose of the ball, because the old non-disposal, it doesn't really exist in football anymore. You just have to make an attempt and umpires will call it play on. So we're just taught to try and pin one arm and try and move them around and make sure they can't get rid of the ball. We're talking off air, supporters are probably entitled to be a little bit frustrated for the past fortnight, and you really need to put a couple of good weeks together now to push
He's
forward.
A happy, have a look at Happy fan here. He does the old
He's
Frank
not
the
frustrated,
Tank.
actually,
He's very happy. And I'll give you a sad fan. Have a look at old sad fan. There's a gee whiz. I was like him.
You're 100% right. We're, pretty much the rest of the year is just about getting that consistent performance, and hopefully the message was pretty clear on the weekend that, from the coaching staff and from the leadership group, if guys aren't performing at that consistent level, if we can't come off at the end of the game and have a decent performance from a bloke, he's going to have to go out and we're going to replace him.
Because the team is creeping on in age. You're at the older end of the competition. You feel the pressure. The win now creates pressure that you need to deal with?
I still think, most of the guys that are playing at the moment are still going to go around, and we've still got a lot of young talent to come in. So, hopefully we'll get Daniel Wells back in towards the latter half of the year. So we've still got some guys to come back in, but, we just really want to capitalise on a group that we think, can play some really good football and match it with the best. One from left field. Your brothers had a tough year. The whole entire Gold Coast Suns team had a tough year. Do the troubles there open the possibility of you being able to play with him at some stage and convince him to move? It's a tough. I'd love him to come down, but he's in contract at the moment, and we have to wait and see. But he's enjoyed his time up there. It's been a bit frustrating this year with a couple of injuries. But I'd love to have him down here. But whether or not that's...
Will you actively try and recruit him?
The club asked me to, if they really go after him, well, I'm happy to go and have a chat with him. And I've spoken to him in the past before, but I suppose he's really felt like he owes something to the Gold Coast because they got him up there as a youngster and he wanted to stick with him. The vote touchy from last night, and the skipper certainly features in those. The big fella, Toddy Goldstein, 8. I actually gave you 8 there, Spitter. I don't know what Paddy's doing there, but Sean Higgins was great with 7. And Jared Wade, I thought, played one of the, if not the best game for his new club last night as well.
Yeah, we'd love you back any time, Andrew. Thanks for coming
Thanks, guys.
for cheering the win last night for the Kangaroos.